everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're very excited today for one of our Hall Star ranking videos. We haven't done one of those for a while. It's going to be super fun. I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Terry is here.
Hello.
And today we have Michael Rady here to rank his movies. And Michael, thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
Of course, I'm so flattered that well, I'm amazed as well that I have enough movies to rank. How cool is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm flattered that you had me here, and I appreciate that both of you have watched all of my movies and are able to rank them. I'm so flattered by that from both of you, Terry and Rachel. Thank you, and hello, Hallmarky listeners.
Yes. Well, this is true story. I'm not just saying this because we're interviewing. When we were previewing Unexpected Grace, I said that Michael Rady doesn't have a bad film in his filmography as far as Hallmark. And if I see that you're in the movie, then I feel pretty confident that it's going to be good.
Wow. Oh, that's such a kind thing to say. That is a feather in my cap, Rachel. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, how do you go about kind of picking projects? You probably get a number of them kind of thrown at you, and how do you decide, okay, this one's a good one?
Oh man, I like to give some credit to Penny Perry, who does the casting at Hallmark, because she, before it even hits my desk, it hits my inbox, Penny has put a lot of thought into this project and into the team that she's building. And so one of the great art of casting and of seeing people in these roles. So most of them have been easy yeses from me, that when I get that phone call or that text or that email from Penny. I just think the world of her. And honestly, this is such a hard thing to do, is to rank these, because I have they're always so much fun. There's always, just in this craft of acting, I'm lucky enough to do something that I love, and so anytime there's just always something to play with and to work on and to explore, and that's been the case with all of these. And the icing on the cake is how wonderful, all across the board, everyone in all of these movies has been to work with. That's a lot of platitudes and hyperbole, but I genuinely mean it. There has not been a bad experience. So that's a massive kind of precursor or caveat to this whole ranking thing that we're going to do today.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Would you say that you prefer doing a Christmas movie or a non-Christmas movie, or there's no difference?
Yeah, the actual extra, as far as like my preference as to the process and how the sausage gets made and everything, I don't see much of a difference. We were saying, right before we started recording here, I'm so grateful. I just did a Christmas movie in the wintertime in March, and that was a relief and a nice change of process, because typically we make them in like May or June, and that can be punishing, to have 3 layers on and to pretend like you're cold when it's 98 degrees outside, or you're being pulled in a horse-drawn carriage in New England in the middle of June, and there's sunlight melting you and there's flies in your face and you're trying to be romantic. That's brutal. So what do I prefer? I would prefer to make Christmas movies in the winter. that overall, but otherwise I don't have a grand preference over non-Christmas or Christmas. They're all, I enjoy the work just as much either way.
If you had to pick one of your movies to make a sequel, which one would you pick?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, that's a good question. Ooh. I might go with Two Turtle Doves. I really
So
yeah, there was so much healing that was done there, so much journey and discovery I felt that was made between those characters, and my daughter. And I would love to see where things are now with them, where they've gone since. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, Terry, how did you go about making your ranking? Was it a tough one?
Uh, a little.
A little, yeah.
So,
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
That's exciting to me, is that it was hard. The harder it is for you. Terry, what criteria did you use to rank these? Was this just like a feel good meter? Was that what criteria are we using here?
basically feel good. That was it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right, let's dive in. And I would watch any of these movies again, which is my like, I don't know, what do you say? It's my test of whether it's like a decent Hallmark movie, is if like I'd be willing to watch it again next year for Christmas or
Right.
whatever holiday it is. Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. Let's talk about number 9. We're doing 9 movies. And for me, number 9 is A Joyous Christmas. And I don't think this is a bad movie. I think that you and Natalie are cute and I liked all that. It was just the Bonnie Bedelia part that was a little heavy-handed and just not my favorite. So that's why it's number 9. But what was that like, kind of making that movie?
So to be clear, the biological mother, the mystery biological mother storyline connection, that didn't quite work for you.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously there's no, this was all fun, and it's weird to rank things like this, because I had wonderful memories from all of this. Yeah, that was a special one for me because I got to sing. I got to sing. It was as I landed in Vancouver to make that, and well, when I got the script, it was my character sings Christmas Memories, this famous Sinatra tune. Sinatra sang it. Pardon me, I'm not sure who actually wrote it, but it was made famous by Sinatra. And I remember singing that and loving that song and being quite swept away by the sentiment of that song all through, like, I don't know, since my teens through high school and through college. That was a favorite. So, oh my gosh, I get to sing this song. This is so random and wonderful. And then I remember getting to the production office on day one. It's like, holy cow, how did you guys get the rights to this song? This is amazing. And they're like, whoa, well, we don't have the rights to that song. I said, oh, are you going to get them? No, probably not. They would probably be way too expensive to get the rights to that one. But there's another Christmas Memories that I think is a good tune, and we'll try to get that one. Okay.
No, that's too bad.
But it was okay because the other one was beautiful as well. And so getting to sing that, getting to record it, getting to perform it, really, I got to sit at the piano while Bonnie was there at the piano, and that was really special. And I just remember that day was a special day because you get to perform it in front of a group of people, and we were actually shooting in a theater that day. So that was a nice little return of sorts for me to my first original love, which was theater and doing theater. And so to actually get to do that, and I really, like, I remember our first AD was sobbing. By the end of a take, she
Aw.
was sobbing. And she just ran up and gave me this huge hug. That was the best. So that was a really special piece of that movie. And I'm not going to share where that one falls for me right now, but
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I love this scene in this movie where you all are washing dishes and like flirty in the soap.
Oh
That's
yeah.
fun.
That's right. Yeah, that was tricky to do because we were in the corner of a kitchen, and
Yeah.
crews, camera directors, and camera operators do not typically enjoy when you're cornered in a kitchen.
Yeah.
So that was tricky, but yeah, I remember we had to. Natalie was just a dear to work with. We had a very easy and splendid time working together, and that was pretty easy and fun to find that kind of
Yeah.
connection and flirtation.
That's my
Yeah.
jam. Like the sweet flirty moments, not the like big emotional. Like I'm more for the fun, I guess.
That
But
hooks you.
yeah. So Terry, what do you have at 9?
I have at 9, Christmas at Pemberley Manor.
Yeah, I have it at 8, so we're pretty close on that one.
Y'all hated that movie. You
No,
hated it.
that's false. I mean, I really don't like the way that Hallmark brands things with Jane Austen and then like does nothing with the actual story. But I think if you take this movie as just like a movie and not a Pride and Prejudice adaptation, I think it's fine. It's not
Absolutely.
Pride and Prejudice.
Got
Yeah. That's my main nitpick about it as well. It's just that the characters just resembled nothing of Pride and Prejudice, and had it not been associated sort of with a modern retake, or loosely, I should say, for Jane Austen, I would have it would have been higher on the list.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, like I said, it was perfectly cute. And they did a pretty good job faking winter on this one. They had a lot of fake snow.
y'all, I just worked with this production company again, Synthetic, and this whole group of filmmakers, they come from a special effects background, both in really in editing, in post production effects. So this was my first experience of this sort on Pemberley Manor. I had just moved to Connecticut. Penny called me with this job in Connecticut, an hour from my house, that we had just bought. Like, yes, this is exciting. And so, but like, the only thing that isn't exciting is it's New England and it's June. This is just brutal. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why? Everything is green. I don't know how this is possible. And I remember staring at Colin, our director, in awe and wonder and confusion. And how are you going to do this? Everything is green. Everything is green. And he was just unflappable and didn't seem overly worried about it. But so you point to something that is quite remarkable that Synthetic is able to do, and that was 5 years ago. And so the technology has only grown. And I just did one in March that is there's some significant effects. There's some significant production value generated through effects, and this group really delivers. Where another production company might not have that in-house skill and talent. So they would have to pay for that out of house. They'd have to outsource that. And so that would just eat into their budget. Whereas this company can do it all in one. And I think hand in a more robust package. We didn't have much practical snow on that. Usually it's practical snow for the listeners is like, when they
Blankets
blow
and
soap
stuff.
bubbles on you, or like, I don't know, any kind of fake snow that you can touch and feel. They blow like, dust at you or something. So there wasn't a lot of it, but it really looks quite filled out as far as the fake snow goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was good. It must be fun to see like these basically Christmas villages like appear overnight, like the festivals and the other stuff in these
It is
movies.
wild. There's every movie has one, and they always like, where's it going to be this movie? And yeah, they do those art departments. They
Yeah.
just arrive. It seems. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Terry, what do you have at number 8?
I actually have your number 9, Joyful Christmas. And basically everything you said, I agree with.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, what is your number 7 then?
My number 7 is You're Baking Me Crazy.
Same. We have the same. Yeah, and this movie, Michael, like was kind of one of the last ones that we got during like when the pandemic was just starting. I think it has like a special place in my heart for that reason, and plus like best title ever, and we love Natalie so much. We're huge fans. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Natalie's. A dream to work with. She was just so easy and lovely to work with. And yeah, I think this movie, I remember hearing that this movie for like up until like November, this was Hallmark's most watched movie of that year. What was 2020, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrapped it. People were coughing in the airport. I remember I had to travel from Vancouver home back here through New York as the pandemic was landing, and like we wrapped right at the buzzer on that movie. And so yeah, not much was made after that, and it was
It was a comfort watch.
It's a comfort watch. Yeah, I think I did hear Natalie had called me saying, "Hey, I want to say Nick Jonas or one of the Jonas Brothers. This was their favorite movie. This is one of their favorite movies, and it's their birthday. And can you send a little message to them, as like a hey, I love that this is one of because they had like a movie watching thing. Yeah. Anyway, that's just a random little thing. The second time I worked with this director, Alan, and his production company. He's an old school guy. He's worked with lots and lots of wonderful people, and so I really enjoyed working with him, and of course Natalie. And it was a springtime movie, which I do have to say, anytime you make a Hallmark movie that isn't a Christmas movie, it is a nice little change of pace.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I prefer one or the other, but it is a nice little change. And we made it in January, so we got to visit springtime in January.
Yeah. Well, and I liked having Casey Manderson as your brother. I think that's a good casting.
He was wonderful. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
He does a lot of these, right? He pops up in a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. He was in one last year where he was like the bad date. Absolutely hilarious. If you want somebody to play like a funny bad guy, he's great in general, but he was really good. Yeah, he's really funny.
He's very likable, and so yeah, you could plug him into that, and that really fits the bill for sure.
Yeah, it's a great title.
So this was a team up with Scholastic Books.
We had the author actually on the pod.
Oh,
yeah.
Is this the one that we talked together on, Rachel, the last time we spoke? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, actually. I feel like it was before New Year's resolution. I think that's when we talked.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But we did have her on, and it was that team up. They did a couple movies with Scholastic.
Yeah, I don't know how much it actually resembled the young adult novel they took the title from, but it is a kind of
a great title.
It's a pretty goofy title.
Well, and you're vegan, right?
Yes, hilarious. And so I'm doing these. Oh my gosh, the food truck! A lasting memory for me is the food truck we had to shoot in. The set art department had dressed it in the beginning of the week, and it just all kind of stayed in there. There was like a rice pilaf with like bacon in it, and of course everything had bacon in it. All of this stuff just kind of stayed in this food truck that was just a giant tin can on wheels for the whole week. And so by the end, oh my God, by like that Friday night, it smelled so bad. It was so gross. And I was in there the whole time for, a week. Yeah.
They gave you the fake bacon though, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, Terry, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is a New Year's resolution.
Same. I guess our rankings are going to be pretty similar. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. We actually did this one we have an On Friendship series where we try to look at it from like other angles than just romance for relationships and other things. So we actually reviewed this one for that as well as our normal, recaps. So I really did enjoy it. And it was nice to have like a New Year's movie that was actually kind of about New Year's.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's a good one.
Nice. Yeah, that as far as the world of Hallmark movies, are there lots of New Year's movies?
Well,
No.
there used to be more because they had Winterfest, and so they would have New Year's, and now they just kind of like do whatever for January. There's no like theme hardly at all. And so like their New Year's movie this year was like set in the summer. It was weird. But so they used to do more and now they're not as much, but it's fun. It's a nice kind of to like carry you over from the Christmas movie watching scene, is kind of letting you down gently to have a New Year's movie.
Yeah. And they sat on New Year's resolution for I think a good year.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
We shot it and then they sat on it. They didn't air it right away. Yeah, I'm not sure the full story with that. It was toward the end of Bill Abbott's tenure there, and yeah, I don't know what
I
exactly.
forgot about that. Yeah. Well, this is your third Sarah Montana script, I think.
Yes, that's right. At this point, we were texting back and forth a lot. Sarah Montana, our writer, who I do adore. She has just so much to bring to the table, and is such a wonderful, wonderful artist. And I remember texting her and saying, "Hey, I'm up in Vancouver. We're starting a New Year's resolution." She said, "Michael, at this point, you've been in every movie I've ever written," and it was it was fun. She's
well, and you got easy because you didn't have to do the polar bear plunge.
I had it so ridiculously easy. Oh, Amy Teagarden, bless her for that. Oh my goodness. Everyone was just staring at her that day with such reverence and awe and respect. I think she had to do it 2 or 3 times. She did it once, and then Leslie, our director, Kevin, our producer, they had to like, oh man, we need to do it again. So they had to walk to her trailer, and where she was like covered in many layers of swim coats and blankets and heaters and things, recovering from the shock of the polar plunge in the Lake Manitoba.
Oh my gosh.
in like mid-November. And they had to ask her to do it again, and she would just say, "Yeah, okay, we'll do it again." She wasn't like, "Really? Come on," or "No." She was just like, "Okay, all right, we'll do it again. This is the job. This is what we're doing. This is the story we have to tell."
Yeah.
Whew. And I just kind of stood on the beach with a coffee off screen and watched.
You weren't tempted to take the plunge.
No, for solidarity, no. I was just trying to be warm and send her warm vibes. That was my off-camera work.
It's not worth it to take that dip. I did it once when I was 19, never again. But it was in my pool, which was even worse, I think. So
it was in a pool?
It was in a pool. There was a little bit of snow. And we just jumped in our bathing. Yeah, well.
Yeah, I actually love open water swimming. It's a passion of mine, and so a bunch of my friends have done polar bear plunges, but I just, no thank you.
Not.
I don't mind a cold immersion in like a spa thermal cycling setting when there's like a very hot Finnish sauna,
right,
like steps from the water's edge. Happy to do it. but I truly am happy to do it. But just a cold plunge on a cold November morning in cold Lake Manitoba. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. That's commitment. Commitment.
Yeah.
All right, Terry, what's your number 5?
Unexpected Grace.
We really have, me too.
I know we differ coming up.
Okay, good. Yeah, to be honest, I was a little bit skeptical about this, just because sometimes the like emotional ones aren't for me. But I ended up really enjoying it. I liked the relationship between you and Erica. It was nice. You don't usually see that like father teenager dynamic done so well. It really was barely a romance, which I was fine with. And I like the fact that they didn't let this kind of misunderstanding on Erica Durance's character like go too long. They like cleared it up because that would have been grown worthy. And I ended up, it was one of my favorites of the spring, I guess it was February of that block. It was one of my favorites. But yeah, what brought you to this project?
It was, the script went through many versions,
Uh-huh.
and in all of them, my character Jack was very, being able to be a parent and dive into stories that involve that. That's so much of what's present for me right now in life. And so
Mhm.
a New Year's resolution where I'm a young single, I don't know why I said young, really, ju- I'm more excited to dive into the things that I am personally diving into right now. And so that was there was a lot to pick up and look at with that, and trying to figure out. I don't have a teenager yet, but I'm at the threshold of that. And
Mhm.
so that was really interesting. And there was
Well,
just a lot.
sometimes teenagers can be portrayed so one note in so many movies that, they're just like the sullen, miserable, awful monsters. And it's so I always appreciate, like, I don't know if you saw The Whale last year. It was not for me. And it's just that teenage character is the epitome of what I'm so sick of, is these just miserable, angry, I can't stand it. But
Right.
but Erica's character in this, she had her moments, but she also was sweet and enjoyed talking with you, and you had a nice relationship. She wasn't just like miserable.
Yeah, yeah. She was struggling in that, right? She just gets pulled
Yeah.
out of everything that she knows in life, and her, I rip her away from that, and so there's some hurt there. It's not, and we get to recover from it. It's not something
Yeah, it's the
that
balance.
It's
yeah.
much,
And sorry, what?
it's much more realistic in
Mhm.
the father-daughter dynamic.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And Erica was um so she's 13 when Erica Tremblay, when we made that. She was 13, and God, she was just teaching Erica Durance and I so much just about teenagers and what we have to look forward to, and what we have to work on before we get to that moment. And just getting like, she was truly teaching on set. Like, we were asking, we'd be in our, waiting for between setups. So wait, like at school, in high school, when this happens, what about that? And what about this? And with phones and instant and social media and TikTok, and when you talk with it was a master class in what we have ahead of us.
She's a
As
good
parents.
actress. She's
She
good.
was she was great. She was great. And our director, uh, oh my gosh,
Linda
oh my gosh,
Lisa.
Linda Lee. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at my list of 9 movies here. Yes, Linda Lisa, our director. I worked with her years ago on a show called Emily Owens MD, and she was our script supervisor. And now she's been directing for years now, and she is so massively talented and skilled as a director, and is running the whole show. Oh, she was wonderful. And this was a big trust fall because it could be kind of weird. There's a lot
Yeah.
there's a lot in this script that could be weird and that could not work if it's not edited together properly, or if it's not handled properly,
Yeah.
with the whole miscommunication thing, and the daughter who's died, and it's there's
Yeah.
there's a lot there that might not gel if it's not handled well. And I felt like Linda Lisa she handled it so well. And our little team of Erica and myself, we had a lot of fun telling that story. And we did a lot of laughing, because there's a lot of it that's kind of dark, really.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to feel the joy around that, because that's life, right? There's joy in the dark.
Well, and I related to, because I know when I was a teenager, like I had a lot of adult friendships that, like, my teachers at church, or some of my teachers at school, or just people that were kind of mentors to me. You don't see that as often antagonist kind of relationship when it's portrayed on screen. So it was nice to see, and I just appreciate that they didn't have it be this like big painful reveal of like, oh, you lied to me about being, and they got that over with pretty quickly, and it was just about healing and growing.
Yeah, it is such a beautiful relationship, and
Yeah.
that doesn't get to that story isn't told too often.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the good folks at Baker Publishing Group. If you are looking for the perfect romantic read this summer, we have the perfect solution. Not only are each of these 5 books fantastic, but we have interviewed all of these authors on the podcast, which will allow you to have a totally immersive experience with each of these stories. Here's some suggestions. First, Second Time Around by Melody Carlson. An empty nester, Mallory Farrell inherits a rundown tourist shop. She never expects to rediscover her love for the funky coastal Oregon town, or her now widowed teenage crush. With his help, she may just be able to renovate the shabby shop and her lackluster love life. Number 2, Windswept Way by Irene Hannon. Buying a supposedly haunted house wasn't in Ashley Scott's plans, but when an intriguing opportunity drops into her lap, she's ready to launch a new life. But she can't do it alone, and her reclusive new neighbor, Jonathan Gray, may be just the person to help. If only there were room in his life for romance. Number 3, The Words We Lost by Nicole Deese. 3 friends, 2 broken promises, 1 missing manuscript. Book lovers and contemporary romance readers, don't miss this new book from Nicole Deese. In The Words We Lost, editor Ingrid Erickson is given a sealed envelope from her late best friend by the man who shattered her belief in happily ever afters, and then sent on a hunt for a hidden manuscript that may finally lead to the healing she's been searching for. Number 4, In This Moment by Gabrielle Meyer. Calling all fans of Outlander and time travel romance, new from Gabrielle Meyer comes a dramatic time-crossing tale set in 3 separate timelines. Maggie inherited a gift from her parents that allows her to live in 1861, 1941, and 2001. Each night, she goes to sleep in one time period and wakes up in another. She faces a difficult journey to discover her true self while drawn to 3 worthy gentlemen before she must choose one life to keep and the rest to lose. And finally, The Heart's Choice by Tracy Peterson and Kimberly Woodhouse. Rebecca McCutcheon is the first female court reporter in Montana. During a murder trial she's convinced that the defendant is innocent, but no one but the handsome new Carnegie librarian Mark Andrews will listen to her. In a race against time, will they be able to find the evidence to free the man before it's too late? For any of these great books and more, go to bakerbookhouse.com today. That's bakerbookhouse.com, or use our Amazon affiliate link in the description. All right, Terry, what's your number 4?
Okay, 2 Turtle Doves.
Okay, yeah, so this is our biggest difference.
Yeah.
So tell us what you like about this one.
Well, at first it was just a little too sad for me, but there's an uplifting message to it. It spoke to me on the levels of grief and moving on, and the search for the doves and reconnecting everything, with the Christmas theme around it. It makes it nice.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
so
good
good.
romance, a good friendship story involved in it.
And then an adorable little girl.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, so cute. I mean, this must have been another fun one to make. I mean, working with Nikki, great.
oh, this one's pretty dear to my heart for so many reasons. So many reasons. Nikki, oh my gosh, and that dear, dear girl. Oh my goodness. Oh, she is just wonderful.
When she says she didn't know if she's allowed to be sad, it's like, oh,
Oh, I hope she's going to take over the world. She is
yeah.
so good. Yes, that was so poignant and sweet. I loved this movie. I loved making it. Nikki is just a force of nature and of talent and of kindness. And Leslie, our director, again, our director, paired with Sarah Montana, our writer.
Mhm. So
This
good.
was, I felt, and our producer on it, Ashley Squires, the executive at Hallmark, who really pushed this movie through. I'm so grateful to have been a part of this film. So grateful. The journey of making it and of exploring all of this, the subject matter, the loss, the grieving, the growing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And this is a good gateway Hallmark movie for people that might be tough sells on these movies. This is one that I've pushed on them, that you don't have to be a Hallmark fan to enjoy this movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. Have you seen Michaela Russell in any? Has she done any other Hallmark movies lately?
Um, Let me check and see.
She is truly one of the finest young actors I've ever worked with. Oh my goodness.
I guess just Love to the Rescue.
Yeah, that was our first one together,
Yeah.
and then we got her, Ashley, our executive at Hallmark, and Leslie. We saw like she was tremendous. We need to get her back, and
She's great. And one of the best if not the best near kiss, because so often we have the almost kiss in these movies. It's like so stupid that it's frustrating. Like somebody gets a cell phone call and it interrupts it. Like, I'm not going to stop kissing because of the phone call. And so with this one, you had intention. You were like, I want to kiss you, but here's the reasons why I'm not going to. And that was like very romantic, and it made sense, so it wasn't frustrating.
Yeah, it's very thoughtful, isn't it?
Yeah, thoughtful.
Yeah, an intention. I like that. You're
Yeah.
right.
Well, my number 4 is Christmas in Homestead, and this is like a classic. This is such a good Hallmark movie. I love just the whole plot is super fun. When this movie star coming in, you're like the homespun dad, or homespun man, and I don't know, it's just a cute rom-com.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so amazed to hear that. Christmas in Homestead. This was the very first one I ever made for Hallmark. I'd done a couple that were acquired by Hallmark later, but this was the first Hallmark one that I did. And
it's kind of like a Christmas version of Notting Hill, like sort of that idea of like normal person meets celebrity. It's cute.
Yeah. And Taylor Quinn Cole. No, she's a very well established face in Hallmark. This was earlier in her tenure at Hallmark as well, and Stephen Monroe, our director, he'd done a ton of them. We shot this in Dahlonega, Georgia, the mountains north of Atlanta, a few hours north of Atlanta. This has a very special place in my heart especially because it was my first one. Again, it was a joy all around to make, and everyone involved with it. I remember the snow on this one was just there was a young producer on the production team. He was probably 20 years old or 21 years old. And they just gave him, Isaiah was his name. They just said, here, you need to figure out the snow. We like whatever our budget is, we're running, I don't know, whatever. You just need to figure it out. And I remember he brought his dad in, who like brought pickup trucks and trailers and things to try and like, this kid slept 2 hours a night. And he was just working around the clock trying to get us snow, some kind of all different kinds of snow. It was the poor kid. Oh my gosh. And I remember we were doing one of the town, the scenes in the middle of town, the like Christmas festival scenes. And we were shooting a night shoot, and we probably like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. And the kid, or maybe I'm not remembering. It was where legally kids could still be on set. So I don't know all the logistics and legalities of that, but we started out with 100 people, and by this point in the night, a lot of them it was just too darn late and hot, and we're just over it. And so people, our townspeople, just left. Whether they just said, we don't even care if we get paid, we're just leaving. And so we still had to shoot like a few more hours, and we had maybe a quarter of our crowd. And so the ever unflappable Steve Monroe, our director, just he's been around the block. He's done huge movies. He just kind of, you put a bigger lens on the camera so you can see. It's like a more of a telescopic lens. You can see further, and your frame gets narrower, so you don't see as wide of a scene. And so you just line up all of your background in a line.
They got good at that at the pandemic, of making like 5 people
using
feel like a
very few
crowd.
people.
Yeah.
It was so funny. And he was like, whatever, we'll just do this. But it's a Christmas scene. You're not gonna. He's like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not ideal, but we'll make it work. Yeah, I had a lot of fun on this one. Nothing bad to say about this one either.
Were you at all like nervous diving into the Hallmark family? Like, people are gonna think, oh, like it's cheesy or whatever, because this movie is beloved. Like, this movie has lots of fans.
Does it really? See,
Yeah.
this is, I love hearing this, because I don't really know. My mom is of course part of all like Facebook Hallmark groups and whatnot, and but I've never gotten the details of like where these movies fall and as far as the fandom around them. This one is a beloved one. I love hearing that.
Yeah, it's very
Wow.
popular.
It was funny for me, and like playing a mayor and whatever my like preconceived notions of like, wait a second, but I'm like 30 something, I'm playing the mayor. But I do know I had a friend who was the mayor of Hermosa Beach in California, and it's just, it's a difference. It doesn't have to be like this big mayoral fancy thing. There's like they switch every year. They go around like the council, and each person has to be the mayor. And this was one of my first times playing a father as well. What was her name? Brooklyn Raisler, I think her name was. She was adorable and sweet. And yeah, I remember there was a moment where I was listening to her, Brooklyn's character, talking to Taylor's character. Taylor was like tucking her in upstairs, and I show up at the door, and I just get to hear like my daughter responding to this kind of motherly female energy, and being like basking in the attention of this mother figure, and feeling like that was a beautiful, beautiful moment. Yeah,
it's very sweet. All right, Terry, what's your number 3?
Love to the Rescue. I'm not a dog person, but this dog was adorable, and I loved the whole sharing custody of it. It was just super sweet.
Yeah.
Interesting fodder for a sequel. Maybe there's a sequel with like an animal that Terry is into, like a cat, like cats. Love to the Rescue. Like there goes the cat adoption, or something.
I am a cat lady. There's not enough cats on Hallmark.
This is true.
No one's doing cats a lot these days.
No.
That's right. I know. We have both. I'm a dog person and a cat person. I've got a giant cat on me right now.
Well, I think that cats are harder to train, so I think they're harder to
They're
use than
divas.
dogs.
They do whatever they
divas.
They're such a pain. They never come out of the trailer. It's such a pain to get them to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love to the rescue. This was Nikki and I. This was our first time working together. What a joy! And Leslie Dimitriades, our director on the other two, she was shadowing Stephen Monroe, who directed Christmas at Homestead. Stephen Monroe directed this, so it was my second go round with him. And the dogs, man, the dog. Speaking of bad actors, that dog was brutal.
Oh no, really?
He was. We had to cut him through so much of the movie. However, he got the job. There was kind of a whether it was a miscommunication or a shading of the truth of like what this dog was capable of. And he showed up and just like couldn't deliver. He was a puppy. He couldn't really even sit still. And Stephen Monroe, as I've mentioned, unflappable. He's the one who like over half of our background quit on us in the middle of the night. And he just moved, like he just kept moving forward with this dog. Just cut him. The dog's not in the scene. Steve, the movie is very much about like the dog is a main character. I don't care. We can't. I'm whatever. We'll deal with it.
I see why Hallmark uses him so much.
You have to. You just got to keep. You can't get hung up on these things, and it's amazing. I love watching directors work, especially when directors have to deal with hurdles like that and bumps in the road, and how they handle it is the mark of what I really respect in directors. And he rolled with the punches, man, on that one. All of us. There's the scene whenever we had that. Oh, I think the dog's name was Bruno. I want to say. I have a mug somewhere with Bruno's face on it. I think it was Bruce. It was Bruce.
Oh,
it was Bruce the dog. He was like a boxer mix. And gosh, he was strong.
Yeah, Bruce the dog.
Bruce the dog. And I remember we had to like hand the dog off in the park. There's a scene where we walk across and meet each other with Bruce the dog on a leash. And he was just, we'd be doing Nikki's coverage where it's a close up of her. And so we'd have two cameras on her, a medium shot, so you could kind of see like 3/4 of her body, or like 2/3 of her body, and then a close up of her. And Bruce so you kind of had to see him too in the shot, and he would just pull her directly out of her close up. Oh my gosh, we were just being stitches, cracking up laughing as she's trying to perform and act and connect, and this goon of a dog is just ruining everything, and it was just impossible to hold on to that dog. Oh man.
Well, they say it's hard to be in movies with animals or children, and this had both.
I've done it all now, and I would say, yeah, the adage is for sure true. And Bruce no one remembers all the tricky parts with making this movie with Bruce. They just remember how cute he is in the movie.
Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
My number 3 is the Christmas bow. And when we saw the previews for this, I remember just thinking, oh, is this one? Because some of these, like I said, the emotional ones sometimes aren't my favorite, but this one was so good. And it was such a huge surprise. The whole scene where she plays for the grandma who has Alzheimer's, that was amazing, unbelievable. And I just thought that you two had great chemistry, and we weren't sure because I know she doesn't have a ton of acting experience. We weren't sure is she going to be what's going to be like, but she was great. You two had great chemistry. It was one of my favorites of 2020. It was really good.
Oh, Lucia Micarelli,
Unbelievable.
one of the finest musicians and artists on planet Earth, right? She's a violin player, a violinist, and she is truly one of the greats on planet Earth right now. That movie was Terry. Wait, what is that 3 for you then too?
No, this one's number 2 for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what am I like? Stay in your lane, Michael. Stay in your
So
lane.
you had Love to the Rescue at 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
so good. And I just don't think anybody, for the marketing or whatever, anybody really expected it to be great. And it was.
This was a really special one. This was really special for me to get to work with Lucia. Our director Claire Niederprum, she was a force as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, oh, Lucia's so good. She has done acting before. She did a show called Treme about New Orleans. And she played a violinist, like a street performer. She is so wickedly talented and so easy to act with and work with and be around. I can't speak highly enough of her. But then to watch, it was as close, like it was to watch someone so good at what they do their thing. Like it was like watching a surgeon or an Olympic athlete when she went into violinist mode, and when they had to record and perform these pieces that she had been working on for weeks and weeks. She would kind of shift from her acting mode into classical violinist mode. It was breathtaking. It was stunning to watch. That level of execution and performance. She practices her trade, her skill, her art 6 hours a day. Every day, you guys. Every day. 6 hours. Imagine 6 hours of your day dedicated to this one particular thing.
And I think that since her character had this injury, and so I think she was able to bring a lot of reality to that, of like what it would happen to her if that was taken from her. You know, she was able to go to that place very easily.
And that there was she had similar stories like that when she was playing in Italy, I think in Tuscany or something. She was doing a big event, and there was like a wine glass or something, and she felt like right after she performed, they like passed out some, like I think it was wine or champagne, and like she tripped or something on a terrace and sliced her hand open. And yeah, it was, so that was very there was a lot that she was able to connect with and bring to our story with her experience. And then also where she plays for her the aging grandfather. She did that, her father, in his in towards the end of his life. That was the way that she was able to connect with him, and was able to generate connection through his loss of memory, and was through music. And so that, I mean, it's part of when she was touring, and she did there was a PBS special that was done about her. She tells this story as well, that she was able to play for her father, and really see that spark of life come back to his eyes, and that spark of acknowledgement and remembrance. And so, yeah, there was just so much there. Again, shout out to Penny Perry for how did she find Lucia Micarelli for that? Like, thank goodness. It would have been very easy to fake the violin part. We do that all the time. We kind of fake a piece of the story because we're not a professional butcher or a professional skier. And so it would have been very easy to do that. And the fact that she was able to find Lucia Micarelli for that movie. Oh, I thank my stars that I wound up in that one.
Well, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that same weekend there was another movie on the regular Hallmark channel, because this was on Movies Mysteries, and that was about musicians, and with I think it's Chateau Christmas, I think is what it was called.
Was
and
it Indiana?
it was such bad timing for them, because compared to like incredible violin in this one. It could
Yeah.
be. It could be.
It was
Even though I
so,
think Luke McFarlane plays the cello, but still,
That-
it's just not the same as like how amazing she is.
and the piano,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
the
that-
piano.
That is funny. That is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
God timing.
That was
That's
Well,
one of why I
sorry,
love
go
the
ahead.
I'm sorry. It's one of the reasons why I love Christmas Boat, because you really believe, even if you didn't know she was really playing the violin, you really believe it. Because
Mhm.
sometimes when you watch these movies, they zoom in on the hands and the hands are different than the person. And, because they have to fake it, but you really believed it,
yeah,
Yeah,
did.
yeah. There was a part in the script where her character or someone had to say like the bow is actually the most important. It's called the Christmas bow, and it's a plot point. It's like the bow is actually more important, the most important part here. And she was like, guys, sorry, raising my hand. I have to mention the bow is not the most important part. The violin is for sure the most important. And we were like, okay, well, could we say the bow is just as important? She said, okay. Well,
It's
sure.
Christmas bows. We need to make this work here.
I said, well, what if we change it to Christmas Bow and it becomes kind of like a boat themed movie about a boat at Christmas, and that the bow of the boat is like where they meet. And they were like, well, that's going to be a lot of rewrites and at the middle of it, right? And don't think that's going to work. And we're shooting in Salt Lake City. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
You were right in my neck of the woods.
Is that where you live?
Yeah, I live about 20 minutes south of Salt Lake.
Oh my gosh, Rachel, how did you not come to set?
Next time you do one, I want to come. I've never been.
Oh, done. We'll make that. That'd
Well,
be really fun. Have you done that? Have you gone to set at all?
no, I never have. I've never gone to.
Rachel. Let's make that happen. You're middle of the country.
I
Salt
tried
Lake
for
City.
Haul Out the Holly because it was literally filmed like 2 blocks from my house, but I just wasn't able to, I don't know, make it all work. But I would love to. I would love anyone out there, Hallmark or whatever.
I mean, it's just a set visit. This isn't like a big ask.
Right.
Oh.
Well, my number 2 is Two Turtle Doves. And like I said, I feel like this is a great gateway. I went on Screen Rants for their best Hallmark Christmas movie ranking episode, and this ended up at number 2 of all time.
Of all time? Oh.
Yeah, of all time. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's I just love it. I love the script. I love your performances. Like I said, the near kiss is so well done. I didn't know I was allowed to be sad. That scene, devastating. I just think it's a great film. Not even just a Hallmark movie. It's a great film, period.
Yeah. Yes, and yes. I love that. I mean, I could go on for a long time about Two Turtle Doves. Yeah.
All right. And we had Kevin and Leslie on for our patron watch along that we did of this movie.
Oh, you
and
did?
that we do for our patrons. Yeah, it was so fun. And Kevin, I don't know if you knew, but he is one of the producers of this new Broadway musical Shucked.
I know. Yeah, no, we text all the time. He's a dear friend now. I love him. I love the experience of having him be the creative producer on these movies. I love the experience of being his friend in life. And so he lives in New York. I'm in Connecticut. Yeah. And my wife and I are going to be Chucked very soon in the next couple of weeks.
Well, they did is one of the first productions to do their tryout in Salt Lake. So I actually got to see it last fall, and it was amazing. So funny.
Was he in town for that? Did he go?
I don't know, because I didn't know at the time that he was the producer, or I would have tried to make that connection. But anyway, it's a great show. It's very funny, and so I'm happy for their success.
Oh yeah, I'm of course thrilled for his success with that, and selfishly very excited to go see it, and see what all the excitement is about.
All right, Terry, what's your number 1? This is very exciting.
My number 1 is Christmas in Homestead.
Yeah,
wow,
it's a favorite. I tell you,
it is everything.
I love that movie.
Of It is everything I love about Hallmark Christmas movies. It's like your favorite warm, cozy blanket. It has everything I want. It has the actor filming a Christmas movie. It has the small town Chris, the small hometown, they love Christmas and they heal everybody's hearts. It's so feel good. It's fun.
Yeah.
This is so fascinating. Terry, Rachel, this is fascinating to hear your the perspective and the criteria that you're bringing to how you take in these movies and what you appreciate about them. This is fascinating. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, my number one is Love to the Rescue, and I have to tell you a little backstory. So I'm a film critic, and in 2019, I had just barely been added to Rotten Tomatoes. So I was pretty new to like the film critic game. And I went and saw movie Shazam, and I like the people in these superhero movie like fandoms are really intense. And I didn't care for the film. It wasn't my favorite. I didn't hate it, but I went rotten on it. And I was the first of like 3 critics, and I was the first female to go rotten on it. It had a very high score. And the internet went crazy. And particularly a couple different DC fandoms sites pinned me and decided that they didn't want me to ever review another film on Rotten Tomatoes ever again. And so I got this deluge of threats and comments and everything. And it's fine if people don't agree with my opinion, but there was a point where I actually had to because the threat was so it was basically threatening a mass shooting. And so I had to inform Homeland Security and the FBI. It was crazy. And I had to tell Warner Brothers and the screening company so that they would know. And it was very, I thought I had pretty thick skin. I'd been doing online reviews for a long time. And I'd been, even though I was pretty new to being a professional film critic, I had been in the space for practically a decade. So I thought I had pretty thick skin, but it threw me. I mean, having people say they want to, shoot me and, just stuff like that was just hard. And that was the weekend this movie came out, and I needed it. And it was very like comforting. And especially the fact that her character, I love animation. I love it even more than Hallmark movies. And for her to be an animator was just like, I just felt like that was like kind of kismet of everything. And I just loved it, and I still love it. And it was just like the movie I needed for that weekend.
Oh, that hit all the right chords
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
So thank you.
Wow, that's heavy. That's bananas and sad and scary and like what are we doing, folks? It's the movie. The movies. It's just someone's opinion. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience, that's for sure. But I just love this movie. I love your chemistry. I love the 2 kids. They're so cute. It's a cute premise, sharing the dog. I love Sarah's script. I think it's great. Like I said, I love the fact that she's an animator. That's something different we don't really see. I love the scene where you're stargazing. That's such a cute date scene.
Oh yeah, right. And Nikki is a husband, but he's an ex-husband.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, her ex.
Yeah, and he's in the picture still, and they're human about it, and they have a healthy relationship still, which is cool.
Yeah.
And Michaela Russell again. That was our first time with Michaela Russell. There was a scene where Michaela and I sat on a bench together, watching Bruce the dog and Nikki and Max the boy who played my son, watching them be hooligans, and Michaela and I are sitting on the park bench together eating something. I don't know, and we kind of found this moment where we both like ate whatever we were eating at the same time or something, and it was so fun. We made that in Savannah, Georgia. I remember I think it was March. It was very early in the year, and great, Savannah. It'll be warm and toasty. It'll be lovely. Perfect time to make a spring movie. And there was most of our exteriors it was like 30 degrees outside or like 33 degrees. And poor Nikki, her springtime wardrobe was like silk camis and like not even a sweat.
Yeah,
She
like
was,
light dresses, sundresses and
we're
stuff.
lucky. We're lucky she survived the movie. It was touch and go for a second. She was so cold, and the guy, they don't really care. They just have me in like a sensible spring jacket, and which so I could have all of the long underwear under it and all of the
Yeah.
hot shots taped all over my body. And poor Nikki in her silk camisole. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, another fun memory tied to this movie is there's a producer named Randa Bailey. I don't know if you ever heard of her, but anyway, she's a producer and she loved this movie and she came on the podcast and we did a recap, I guess. And she's usually known for sort of more edgy kind of stuff. Like she was a producer for Swiss Army Man and some other sort of weird
Got it.
and movies anyway. And so that was a really fun memory too. It's just a movie that connects with a lot of people, I think. Wide variety.
I love that it found you at the right time. That's a special little thing. And I that's a really beautiful part about the residual of the effect of what I do is that people can find these things and they really can help people access things in themselves and touch people. And thanks for sharing that. I love that.
Well, it's like Roger Ebert said that film is a machine for creating empathy. And I think that that's true for all different kinds of films, not just feature films, but Hallmark films, like all different kinds can help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think theater does that. I think lots of performance does that. Even stand-up comedy can do that. It can all help you build, access empathy within yourself. And I'm very grateful to do what I do and to then know that there's such a world of fans out there for these films, these Hallmark films. I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast. My name is BJ.
And my name is Me Too, and we promise this promo is worth it, so please don't skip ahead.
We're two judgy friends who put our judgmental skills to work for you. We review the pilot episodes of new and popular shows and shows that our listeners request to answer your question, should I watch this?
Look, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home, and yes, we should be reading and trying new projects and enriching ourselves, but does anything beat binging a great show?
Let us take the guesswork out of deciding what your next show will be. Tune in to The Pilot Podcast at thepilotpodcast.com.
Do you want to share your rankings since you said you made one?
Was I not supposed to? Did I misunderstand the assignment?
No, you can. It's just some people don't like to share their rankings because
some people abstain from this part. Who abstains from this part? I want to know.
I can't remember, but I mean, I can understand, like, because you work with people, you want to have but I think it's fine too if you want to share.
I showed up with a different criteria, and I can't bring the perspective that you both bring to this. I can't watch the movie with complete abandon, knowing and detachment. I just can't. I'm capable of that. So I can only go off of I don't even know a criteria because my caveat at the beginning was that I have fun on all of these. And it's the reason I continue to do them is because they are just a joy to make. So with that being said, coming in at number 9. Oh, you're going to laugh. Can anyone guess what my number 9 is? Terry, I want you to guess what my number 9 is.
Oh, Lord. It's Christmas at Homestead?
It's Christmas at Homestead.
That's so interesting.
Isn't that funny? But not for any horrible reason other than it was the furthest to go from now. It was great. It was great. I can't be swept away by the story as much as you both can because I'm so attached to it. I guess I'm more interested in diving into things, the process
Emotion.
And finding those the pieces of catharsis and those moments to kind of access those things and to to bring catharsis, that kind of stuff within myself, as you know, that's why I enjoy doing this. And so I guess that's probably more of the criteria that I bring with it. But that being said, there was plenty to go, you know, in that category as well. With my wife had passed away, and I'm raising this young girl without a mother, and then she finds this woman who she really connects with. So yeah, it was beautiful. But yeah, that comes in at number 9 for me. And that was number 4 for you, right, Rachel?
4, yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. One for Terry.
Number 8, I have New Year's resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Only because it was, I don't know, it was fun. Again, I guess I was playing a 30-something, a single 30-something, and I guess I felt like I had more to access, or at that point in my life. Yeah, maybe that's why. I'm not sure exactly why. 7, I have Bacon. You're Baking Me Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
6, I have Joyous Christmas. 5, I have Unexpected Grace, which we all got 5 Unexpected Grace, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have The Christmas Bow, the great pirate swashbuckling epic at Hallmark. I have The Christmas Bow at number 4. Number 3, I have Love to the Rescue. Number 2, you guys, I have Pemberley Manor.
Oh, that's so interesting.
I had zero connection to the Jane Austen of it all. I truly didn't. I just took it for its own story. I wasn't hoping to, I don't know. I didn't, as far as me jumping into that character, I didn't need to like find some resemblance, or I was able to find my own path through it without trying to
Well, and I do have to say, of the 2 supposed Pride and Prejudice movies that year, this was definitely the best of the 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because Pride,
Oh.
Prejudice, and Mistletoe was terrible.
Oh. Yeah, I think I have this at 2 because of the it was a fun character to get into, the nostalgia of that old house, that old manor, and what it meant for me as a child. And yeah, so that landed at number 2. Holy cow, so drastically different from you two. And then Two Turtle Doves came in coveted number 1 for me.
It's so good. Well, yeah, I'm just too big of a Jane Austen fan. That's the problem.
Sure, and that's fair.
It's hard to divorce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I do believe that was I don't know. My parents are such massive fans. I love them for it. So supportive, such fans, and especially like specifically Hallmark fans. And so my dad, I feel like he texts me every other day saying Christmas at Pemberley Manor is on. I feel like it plays a lot, only through my hearing from my father when it's on. Like, all right, great, Dad. I'm not like, I can't go watch it right now. But he will text me every time it's aired.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they do play that one a lot. I don't know what their criteria is for when they when they show the movies, which ones get a lot of play. I don't know.
I know people who love that one.
Yeah.
Well,
very good. We approve of your ranking. What do you think of our rankings? Are you happy
Rachel,
with
Terry,
our rankings?
for me here, big takeaway from today was Homestead and the legs that Christmas in Homestead has. And wow, that was a big takeaway. And the other takeaway is maybe perhaps a deep dive at some point with you both on why we're not interested in the emotional stuff. Worth looking. Is that it's just a pure escapist. We just want to feel good. We don't want to feel the heavier stuff. We just want the lighter, joyful, escapist stuff.
Well, then sometimes it's done well and then I like it, but so often it's not done well. And so I guess that's why I'm skeptical when you feel like you're being too manipulated, and it's a little heavy-handed sometimes.
Too much sentiment, immediate turnoff for you.
Yeah, and like there's something about the fact you sit down to watch a Hallmark movie, you're expecting a certain type of entertainment, and you know that the movies and mysteries are going to be more The Wonders of Christmas, the Miracles of Christmas. So those are going to be more emotional, but sometimes it's just not done well. And so I guess that's why I go into them a little bit skeptical. Like Eric Durant's had a movie the year before, Unexpected Grace, I think, that I didn't care for. She played this like needy mother who was so upset that her son, who was 14, wouldn't get a picture with Santa. And I was just like, this is not reasonable.
Hold on. Sorry. I'm texting her right now to tell you.
Oh no.
Hates you so much, thinks you're awful. Okay. Sorry. So what reason? No, I'm kidding.
But that's the kind of thing that like doesn't work and is a turn.
Got it. That's fair. Yeah, I hear you.
But then she won me over with this. Anyway. But I don't know. What do you think, Terry? What do you think about the emotional ones?
There was a point in my life where anything emotional, anything sad, anything that would make you cry, I would watch. And my family used to make fun of me saying I loved misery, and I would read all these books, but then one day I turned 40 and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need joy. I just my taste changed. I just needed something that didn't resemble real life, that was uplifting, and I could escape to it.
Yeah. Good for you. That's a great. There's a lot of self-awareness in that, and knowing what you want and are.
But anytime you want to do a deep dive, we're here. Just let us know. It's for real. So, well, thanks again. We really appreciate it. And do you have like social media or anything you want to share? Or
I'm on Instagram, Michael J. Rady, Rady.
Great.
And you guys are. I love that you invited me on to do this. I'm flattered again, and I appreciate you. That you've watched all of my movies. So a big hug to both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we're looking forward to the new one that you just filmed.
Oh, me too. I'm really excited for that one as well. Yeah.
Well, very good. And let us, if you're listening, let us know what you think of our rankings, and we want to hear your rankings down below as well. And thanks again, Michael. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take care.
We'd like to thank Michael for coming on and doing this. This was really fun. We had a blast. And so let us know your rankings down below. And Terry, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Flurry Heaven.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure that you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our patron group, which we talked about, some of the watch alongs and other things that we do with the patrons. That's so much fun, and we make it so worth your while to be a patron. So please take a look at that. And then we also have the merch store, which has tons of Hallmark inspired merch. So check that out. And thanks so much, Terry and Michael, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.